Hi guys, it's Nox. Welcome back to my cozy art corner. Today we are going to learn how to draw Prince Zuko
from the Avatar the Last Airbender series.
If you guys have ever seen that series, you know who he is. He's a very fiery and, no pun intended, fiery and aggressive character in the very beginning of the series. But then later he learns to control himself, to find inner peace, and he learns how to really hone in his firebending skills. And later on, spoiler alert, he becomes the Fire Lord. So he's one of my favorite characters because he's just a very dynamic person. And yeah, so we're gonna learn how to draw him today, the basics of how to draw him today. So yeah, let's get started. So here I have Prince Zuko. I've already drawn him out for you guys. I'm gonna teach you guys the basics of how to do this. Okay, so what we want to do when we start out drawing Prince Zuko is we want to draw his head. You guys remember from my last video that I talked about drawing an XY grid, an XY graph. So let's get started on that. But this time we're gonna do a slightly more curved version of it. And remember when I said about drawing points, so we are actually gonna draw points and connect them. And it doesn't have to be perfect in the very beginning. You just want to get that rough outline. All right. So let's draw out the rest of his face. You want to create a tiny little bump right here. That's where his eyebrow line is. And then you want to come down, create his cheek. It kind of sinks in just a little bit. Create his chin. Over here, you want to pull this down a little bit, and then you want to create his ear, which goes something like this. Now you want to create the jawline, the mandible, and then you want to connect these two lines right here, all right? And now we can go do the hair. Gonna draw a little cylindrical, triangular cone shape here at the top. Draw those lines. And we're gonna create his hair. I like to start from the top and then move down. So create that. And then his hair is billowing in the wind. So let's create that effect. Alrighty. And now for his eyes, I want to create a line right about here. It's about where I want to create his eyes. And these lines also help guide the shape of the eye because you don't want them too big, you don't want them too small. So let's draw his eyes. And over here, we want to do his other eye. This one is actually a little smaller because this is where he got burned. So let's make that a little tinier. Let's draw his eyes. All right. Now we want to create his nose. Comes down like this. Goes midway, and then create that nostril. And then his eyebrow, we want to come from here all the way down and then curve it because he's a very angry teenager at this point. And then create like that. Kind of looks like the Nike checkpoint. That line right there. And then his mouth. Very angry, he's frowning. And now what we want to do is clean up our lines a little bit. and now we want to draw his infamous scar. So we're going to go here like this, and then curve it right here. We also want to draw a little more inner portion of his scar. This is where he got burned the worst. Cover that up. Draw the inner portion of his ear. Then what we want to do is we want to draw his neck. So we get that down here. Draw his collar. I'm going to draw a line right here, kind of, to connect his collar. So there we go. And then pull that up here, wrap that around, bring it down. And then what we also want to do is do the other half of his collar. Like that. Now we have this point right here, so let's create another point right here so we can create the rest of his clothing, or I guess it's kind of like his body armor in a sense. I also want to draw his shoulders. Draw it like that. Bring it up, connect it. And then do this. You want to connect those, bring it around. And then what you want to do is bring this around here. Now what we want to do is we want to curve it, because actually part of this portion of his clothing goes behind his arms. Let's draw his other arm. And there we have it. We have a very rough outline of Prince Zuko. This is how I usually get started, and then I kind of clean it up a little bit with more erasing. I get the face shape and then the body just a little more defined. And eventually you guys will get this. So with this one, I just went over it with some micron pens, and I kind of just filled in his scar with some charcoal, and then I created some definition in his eyes. But yeah, just refine this one, and then you will get this one. Just keep working at it. Your first try isn't going to be perfect. I think almost every artist's first try isn't perfect. So it's all about keep working on the same thing, and then you will get something more refined like this. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of my Cozy Art Corner. I had a lot of fun drawing Prince Zuko with you guys. If you guys have any other ideas about what you want to see next, please leave me a comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit subscribe so you know when I post another art tutorial. I'll see you guys again in the next video. Bye!